Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Welcome to the free for all. This is my favorite day of the week. Not because it's Friday, well, probably because it is Friday. The chat's always lively, and we talk a little bit about anything and everything, which we kind of do every day anyway, but at least it's got a name, and it's the Friday free for all, and I don't have to think up a new thumbnail to create for YouTube. So, I do have some random stuff that I want to touch on today. Um, and preview the Madison Card Show, which is coming up tomorrow. I did make a retail run yesterday. Went to the Sheraton on Nolan Drive and checked over the rooms. Followed up with some vendors. Everybody's in, which I'm. This may be the first time I'm reaching out to some new vendors. Are you in? Maybe not. Kind of hoping because I'm oversold still on Friday morning. There's likely going to be some cancellations today. Probably some no-shows. I mean, this is just kind of part, it's every show has them. But I like to be prepared and I'm a little concerned going in. I'm 4 oversold, but when I went to the venue yesterday, I know I can fit 2 additional tables downstairs in the downstairs ballroom. I can fit, I think, 1 more in the mezzanine. So that's 3. So then I just have to pinwheel another table somewhere, and I can probably fit one somewhere else. The issue is, though, I've got multiple tables. So trying to find spots for like the 2s and the 3s. I'm going to have to play a little Tetris. So early afternoon, I might be in scramble mode. We've got Victor in the house. What's up, Victor? Good morning. Herman with us. Good morning, Hobby World. There, Herman beat Jenny. Herman beat Jenny to the Good Morning Hobby World. So that's what I did yesterday. I watched the sprinkler last night. I think I shared some video. Did a little lawn watering. There's John. What's up, John? John's the inspiration behind a lot of what I want to talk about this morning after watching, and I haven't finished the interview with Dan Epstein yet. I think I'm about 50 to 55 minutes in, so about a half an hour left of John's interview, which is in the description. I did link the interview that I'm about to talk about that John did with Dan Epstein. The link is in the video. Herman beat Jenny to it. Terry, what's up? David, what's up? So happy Friday. No, I almost said I like long ones. I like long form content. So I actually enjoy the longer form interviews. It just happened to be when I was watching it, it was at the time of day where I'm not really. Mornings is when I really consume, between now and noon, or when I get off this, from 8 a.m. to noon, that's when I consume the more long form content. Got some loose hairs up there. And then in the afternoon, I'm kind of doing various things. So then I'm kind of doing some quick hitters and some of the shorter form content. Herman already hit that like button. Appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Hit the like button. Hopefully you like today's content. Dave is with us. Good morning. So what did I do yesterday? So yesterday I was preparing for the Madison Card Show, which, by the way, is tomorrow. Tomorrow at the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Free admission in 120 tables. Well, right now, 124 tables. We're going to squeeze those 4 in. So 120-ish tables show. ATX Treasure Chest, what is up? Good morning to you. So I prepared that. I went over to the venue yesterday. What I really liked, and I tweeted the photo out, I think, on the Madison Card Show Twitter and Instagram and Facebook pages. 5-Star Cards is a dealer that accepts subs for PSA and SGC. and the SGC turnaround is really fast. So my buddy Mark, who sets up at my shows, will be in Vegas. He's in Vegas now, so he's going to miss the show. But he submitted some cards to SGC through 5-Star Cards at my show, 4 weeks ago, on May 28th, I think. He submitted them on Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, Saturday. 5-Star Cards sent them off to SGC. SGC graded them and sent them back, and they're ready for pickup already. How about that for turnaround? So 5-Star Cards, they will be there. They've got a new spot this month, which I was a little nervous. Like I knew where I wanted to put them because I wanted the group subbers to have like a not like a standalone, but be a little more like easy to direct. Okay, they're on the mezzanine. You can't miss them because the last 2 months they've been downstairs in against the back wall, which is good, but they're gonna get a little more. They're gonna see the whole show from where they're at now. So, and it's a pretty cool setup. I was able to. I couldn't fit the 3 tables side by side, but I could angle it, and it actually gives people like you can walk up and not be in the way. And there's a little more room out in that mezzanine area. So I'm excited for them to have that set up. So 5-Star Cards, PSA, SGC, I think they do CSG as well. SGC's really fast turnaround. I've never submitted to any grading company, but I am an SGC. I just love the way their slabs look, and I'm a vintage slabber. Likely wouldn't submit any modern cards. I have a stack that I've had for a year, and it keeps growing of pre-war and vintage Cubs cards in my collection that I'm eventually just basically to be slabbed, authenticated in some cases, some maybe number grade would be nice, but I'm team SGC. So anyway, ATX says getting ready to set up at my first show this weekend, 175 tables. Very nice. Love it. Up to 7 Prism singles sold for $41. So happy with the purchase of 3 blasters, but only with the early on eBay with most of the cards. A week from now, I imagine the pricing for singles crash hard. Based on what I'm seeing on Twitter, I think you're exactly right, because I'm seeing carts loaded up, and not only am I seeing carts filled with Prism football blasters, I'm seeing the caption, and I even left a bunch on the shelf. So it's like, and Panini doesn't have odds, so they can just print these to the moon. And I'm surprised there's not more. I mean, Prism's basically like the flagship of football and basketball. So, in the next couple of years, until they lose the license to Fanatics in 2025 or 26, is Prism basketball and football, are those products going to be printed much like baseball prints Top Series 1? It's a big question. I don't know. Dave, what is up? Good morning. SGC turnaround is fast due to fewer cards being submitted lately. I guess that's good and bad. Mostly good though. Mostly good. Especially from a consumer standpoint, submitting, you don't have to wait. Is that a bad that nobody's submitting to SGC? I don't know. That might be a good thing as well. Abraham, good morning. I'll be stopping by the Madison Card Show on John Nolan Drive tomorrow. Very cool. Look forward to seeing you. SGC is the only way in my mind. I agree with John. PSA is good for resale, but for my own opinion, I mean, does anybody like PSA? Now, take resale value, take all that out of the equation. From a eye appeal standpoint, does anybody like PSA slabs? Like, who prefers PSA slabs over SGC slabs? Anybody? PSA slabs are so ugly, especially on vintage and in pre-war. Like a T206 in a PSA slab is like the ugliest looking thing ever. A tobacco card in an SGC slab. Magnificent. PSA is like cooking ribs, slow and low. SGC is ribeye, 6 minutes aside on high. What's up, Zach and Porter in the house? Tracy is with us. Good morning. Hope show goes well this weekend. Thank you. ATX prefers the SGC slabs personally. Herman says no. I submitted 30 last summer and took 2 weeks total. Same thing is happening now. Lately doesn't fit. I would agree with that. SGC is just fast overall. Let's see. Victor says I do not like slabs, raw all day, and I am. I'm a raw dogger. I prefer raw cards as well. But I do have a collection of pre-war Cubs that I do want slab, just basically for authentication. In some cases, I just want them to be authenticated. There's a couple tobacco cards that I bought raw that it's like I have a Joe Tinker T206 that it's like I think it's authentic, but it might not be. Like the front looks a little off to me, but the back has like it's been in a scrapbook, and the back looks authentic, but the front looks off. And maybe that's a scammer manipulated it to appear aged with that scrapbook, glued it into a scrapbook to make it look like an authentic T206. So that's one that I'm a little like, it could be, it couldn't be. I'm not a grader. I'm not an authentic. I'm not an expert in grading or authenticating. So I just want that. I just want to send it off because it is kind of like, I don't know. And even the person that traded it to me kind of threw it in. Here's where my like, the bells went off, the red lights went off. It's like, he's like, I'm pretty sure it's real, but it was kind of like a random throw into a trade. And it's like, who's going to be throwing in and this was several years, this was maybe 4 years ago. So it's not like it was, recently within the last 2 years, but still it's like, a T206 Joe Tinker is a throw in. Maybe it's just very generous, but that's like the main card. And actually I may just take that to I wonder if I have easy access. It's in one of those boxes over here. I know about where it's at, but maybe I'll grab that and I'll just do one submission with 5-star tomorrow. Just to see. I think I'm going to do that. Mark Hoyle, what's up? John says PSA is the market leader. So is Sears. That's a great comparison. I love it. ATX says non-sports PSA is very fast turnaround. I got mine back at the house in 16 days. Wow. That's impressive. This is adults only today. Liberate cards from their plastic coffins, says Cooter. I like it. I do prefer some slabs. And that's coming from someone who's never, ever, ever submitted a card for grading or authenticating. Now, I have a bunch of slabs in my collection. Mark has never graded a card either. Mark Hoyle and I have in common, we've never watched a minute of Star Wars, and we've never graded a card. Pepino Man, what's up? I like my cards how I shower. Love it. What's up, Jenny? I have a lot of slabs in my collection. Just, I'll buy them. But it's not like it's not a deal killer. If it's slabbed or unslabbed. Now, I do prefer when I get my pre-war, I do prefer it in an SGC, and I'll pass on PSA. If there's a T206 and a PSA slab at a great price, I will pass on it and just wait for a raw copy or an SGC. Let's see. Zach and Porter agree with Victor, but I don't care if others like to slab, just isn't for me. I 100% agree with that. Like I said, I have some in my collection, but it doesn't appeal to me to actually, the process does not appeal to me. Jenny slept in. DR says, I still can't believe one of these newer grading companies like an HGA didn't ditch the idea of grading the card, but just slab the card with a cool label and a nice slab for a lower price point. There are some companies that do that. In fact, I probably have one. I know I have one. I know I have one. I think I have one. Let's see, what's this? That's a mag. Look at this. An unopened, a still sealed screw down holder. How about that? That's a big old thick monster. Boy, this is an adults only show. Let's see. I thought I had one. But there is a company, and they were at the National last year. This is my tub of random top loaders and card savers, which I did get a shipment from BCW yesterday. I think I ordered 15,000 card savers and 54-row boxes for my quarter cards, my bargain boxes. But going back, as I digging through plastic, mentions about just slabbing cards. There's a company, and they were at the, and I actually ran into the guys in the parking garage, and they're like, "Hey, do you want a t-shirt?" It's like, stranger danger. Hey boys, do you want a t-shirt? So got a t-shirt. I think it was, they only had like a medium on. I'm like, do I look like a medium? They're like, sorry, medium's all we have left. Which isn't surprising. Why even bring medium t-shirts to a card show? There's not too many mediums out there. I can say that, myself included. Anyway, and then they gave us the slabs, and it's basically, DR, what you're talking about. It's basically just a slab, and there's a slip to where you can put your own label. And I think they have a label, but I think you can put your own little label at the top. So, and I can't remember what the name of the company is. The shirt didn't fit. So if the shirt fit, I'd wear it and I'd remember the name. But the shirt didn't fit. The Falsey says Spaceballs greater than Star Wars. I 100% agree, but can I actually agree without ever seeing Star Wars? Probably, because Spaceballs is funny, very funny. My Schwartz is bigger than your Schwartz. Safe at home. What's up, Ed? Good morning to you. John says my next grading will include what I think is a Billy Williams rookie that I reckon is an 8. That's very nice. Johnny Boy Cards is with us. Good morning to you. Jenny says, LOL, I have a busy weekend. My weekend starts now. Just stopping by to say hi. We'll rewatch this one later. Have a great weekend. John says BCCG, where everyone gets a 10. Sean is with us. What is up? Sean is going to be set up at the Madison Card Show tomorrow, all the way from Kansas City. So Sean was set up. Sean's got some awesome cards, by the way. So if you're going to be at the Madison Card Show, check out Sean's table. He can't wait. He's never seen Star Wars. So look forward. Safe travels to Madison this weekend. John says they wrecked the whole concept of grading. Yeah, BCCG was just an absolute disaster. And what really sucks about that is I think it wrecked the whole concept of Beckett grading, because that has the Beckett name attached. And it's like, well, if Beckett graded these junk slabs, what are they doing with other slabs? That was a disaster. Cooter says, I agree. T-cards should be slabbed in SGC only. ATX adds, man, I remember those inch-thick screw downs back in the day. Those things were crazy big. I mentioned yesterday that I have a Jerry Rice rookie that was in part of the small collection I bought last month or 2 months ago. And I haven't put it on eBay yet because I've got to go find a Phillips head screwdriver to free it from its plastic cell. Herman says never submitted a card either, although I did plan to submit the of 5 Freeman that I showed Monday. That was a bummer. At least it was in, all things considered, at least it wasn't mangled. Based on what the bubble mailer looked like, it could have been much, much worse. Cooter says we can even hear Bo's organization style in that tub. Absolutely. John says, I saw the first 2 Star Wars as a kid, then found out they weren't the first 2 when I had kids. I know that, like, totally. It's like, wait, these are like the 4th and 5th movies, but they're not the first. Or they're not actually the 4th. All confusing. What's up, baseball card curmudgeon? So I went to the Sheraton, got everything set up for the Madison Card Show. It's tomorrow, 9 to 3, free admission, 120 tables. So gonna have a lot of fun tomorrow. I went to Walmart, and I'm happy to announce that my family grew yesterday. My Bowman U family grew by 6, so I have 47 blasters of Bowman U football. I rescued 6 from the shelves of Walmart. Ray from Philly in the house. What is up? I went to 2 Walmarts. The one I think the vendor comes either late Thursday or early Friday. I actually ran into her a couple weeks ago, and it was probably like 4 in the afternoon. It was a little earlier yesterday. So I went to the second, and there was a bunch of Bowman U football, well, 6, and I bought them. And then I came home, I watered the lawn. I told my wife the other day, I'm like, I'm going to make sure we have the greenest lawn on the block. And so I may have to sell my Bowman U blasters to pay the water bill in the next couple months. I think it was last year too. It wasn't maybe actually it was probably pre-pandemic. Because once the pandemic hit, then I had a bunch of time to run sprinklers in my yard. So it must have been 2019. I had mowed, and then we had it hadn't rained very much. I mowed, and then it got into the 90s, sunshine, no cloud in the sky, fried my lawn. I came home, and half my lawn was brown. And my neighbor Frank, who has in-ground sprinklers, but damn it, I'm going to have a greener lawn than him. Retired Frank. He just, I love the way he's old school, and he'll tell me like it is. He'll ask me why I haven't mowed. He'll ask me why I mow too short, why it's too long, why my grass is brown. You've got a lot of crap, and I shouldn't have a lot of. I have a weed service come, but sometimes I'll get crabgrass, and I didn't know. He actually taught me this. Crabgrass. We have what's called Weed Man. They come and spray, but apparently it doesn't do crabgrass. So he's like, boy, your lawn. I don't know if you're gonna be able to save your lawn. It's like, thanks for that, but damn it, I saved it. Let's see. Herman says, I did get some info from my post office that I plan to share Monday. I am intrigued to hear that. Oh, speaking of post offices, this happens very rarely, but it does happen. And I know it happens to others. I got a message through eBay last night. And this is regarding standard envelope. So this was a buyer, and it was like a 99-cent card. And what really sucks on USPS employees is, I know for a fact that this definitely fell within the confines of the actual USPS rules. Trying to find the message here. Here we go. So he ordered a single card, which I sell, and I'll show you. Do I have a tape measure? I don't think I do. I don't have a card saver with me. Actually, I think I do. Nope, that's a top loader. So I send single cards in a card set, a penny sleeve, a card saver, wrap them in a piece of paper, and put them in a standard white envelope. No cardboard, and it's well under a 1/4 inch thick, which is what the USPS for So the buyer said, and he showed me a picture and I know it was just a employee who's not following the rules, or following them too closely to where they're not following them. Let's see. I received the card today. However, it arrived with postage due of 30 cents. Been having this issue a bit lately. 15 cards that he ordered came with it this week. 15. Mail carrier said it's due to the thickness of the envelopes. They are non-machinable. The 50 through eBay doesn't contacted eBay in regards to this as well. And I wouldn't say mine's well packed. Actually, he showed a picture. It's not even my envelope. Huh. But if he got 15, a chance that mine's in there. So, I told him, I refund the 30 cents, but that's just annoying. And it's not like we're following most people follow the rules. Now, when it comes to, I know some people use those thick cardboard envelopes. That's, now you're starting to teeter on that line. If you use a standard envelope, standard white envelope, piece of paper, card saver, even a top loader, you're going to be under a 1/4 inch. You're going to be under an ounce if it's just a single card. And that falls within, go to the USPS website and I don't know. I don't understand why some employees are Scrooges about it. And oh, you owe 30 cents. It's like, it's not going into their pocket. Like you're following the USPS rules. I know the post office is hard up for additional cash. Maybe they should change the rules then. I don't know. No, don't do that. Okay, where are we at? So Herman's got some information to share on Monday night. John says, most of my favorite people are here now. ATX treasure chest. Are you collecting them as an investment? Kind of both. I do open some random. I've opened maybe 4 or 5. And we're talking about the Bowman U football that's behind me and below me. I really love the product. I think it's a fun product. I'm a big college football fan. I made a declaration a few months ago that when it comes to retail, I'm only going to buy products that I enjoy opening. And I have some, back in the spring, I bought, and some of this stuff is still sitting on shelves, but I had like a Donruss basketball mega box. There's a Panini Illusions mega box. A couple of playbook hanger boxes. I've got some NBA hoops. And that was just stuff I'm like, I'm just going to sit on this until basketball or football season because I really enjoy opening football cards while watching football games. So that's, in this product, I opened one blaster and I'm like, this is really fun. And then I opened a second blaster. This is still fun. I like this product. So I really like the product. So it's not like, if essentially I bought so many because yes, it's part investment, speculation, a speculative investment. But if they're worth $20 in September, which could vary, 3 things can happen with Bowman U football, and 2 of them are bad. The good thing that can happen is those blaster boxes double in price or more. I don't think they'll more than double in price, but I think they could hit $40 on the secondary market come September. So that's the good thing. Singles within said boxes could spike, which that is going to drive the sealed box prices up. But 2 bad things can happen. The bad thing is they could be worth less than retail come September, October. And they're $12 in the retail bins and nobody's buying them on eBay or anywhere else. That's like worst case scenario. But then the other bad thing that can happen is there's just not much interest behind them. And people do buy them because it is a fun rip. And people will pay $20, $25 on the secondary market. And basically I'm breaking even, which is bad because I bought 50 of them. And if I'm sitting on 50 blaster boxes for how many months, 6 months, say, and I break even, that's a loss. So, I lost that capital that could have been used in, bargain boxes, bulk collections that I could have used and turned a profit much quicker than just sitting on them for 6 months and then liquidating. So yeah, it's essentially it's a speculative investment, but I do enjoy the actual product behind it. So Zach and Porter says, is anyone else concerned that Bo just referenced Bowman U as his family? Oh, yeah, it's getting serious. When does he just stop collecting Cubs altogether and focus on unlicensed amateur athletes? That's harsh, Zach. That's harsh. The clover is coming in nicely on my lawn. Grass should be gone by month's end. Tell Frank or grab his tape gun and meet you in your basement. Here's my favorite Frank moment. At the time, it was my least favorite Frank moment, but now it's like I've come to accept his grouchiness. So I did, and I only did this once, and I'll never do it again because it was what's when you rent those machines? Not a Thatcher. Damn it, I can't think. Some of these like vocabulary words I can't think of in the morning. It's basically a machine that puts holes in your lawn. Aerate, a lawn aerator, and it creates little clods of dirt, and it looks like little dog turds all over your yard. So anyway, I'm not much of a handyman, and when I say not much, I am not a handyman whatsoever. I have a neighbor. He's basically our handyman. He's my friend and our handyman. And so he's like, hey, I'm gonna me and his neighbor, and he lives around the corner. We're thinking about renting a lawn aerator from Menards or Home Depot, wherever. Do you want to go in on it? And we'll split it 3 ways, rent it for the day. I'm like, yeah, I could use a good lawn aeration. So basically they were going to do it because they live right next door to each other. So they're going to handle their lawns, and then I'll be the third man up. And he's like, okay, well, I'll bring it over at 5 o'clock or whatever it was. So he sends me a text at like 4:30. His neighbor broke it, broke the aerator. Now these things are freaking, I don't know how you break a lawn aerator. These machines are like 500 pounds and you push them. I mean, they have a lot of power behind them, and I'll get to that. I experienced that firsthand. So we've got to go get a new one at Menards. So it's like 6 or 7, and brings over the aerator, and he's showing me how to use it. He's like, be careful, because it's once you hit that gas, it really takes off. And again, it's a few hundred pounds. So fortunately, because I learned firsthand how powerful the lawn aerator actually is. Fortunately, I started on the Frank's side of the yard as opposed to the other side, because my other neighbor behind me has a nice fence. And I learned how powerful it was, and I destroyed my raised garden beds. Now, fortunately, it was like late summer, so the gardens were already done. So I had to buy new raised garden beds a couple of years ago because I destroyed them with the lawn aerator. So I do the backyard, and I'm done. Like the front yard, screw it. So I call my buddy up. I'm like, hey man, I'm done. I'm not doing the front yard. And he's like, you got to do the front yard. I'm like, I'm not doing the front yard. I'm like, if you want to do the front yard, be my guest. I'm not doing the front yard because there's too many angles. I've got the rock wall, and I'm not going to mess with it. A lot of concrete, sidewalks and driveway. So he's like, I'll do it. And that's the way he is. He just likes doing things. So he's doing it. Frank comes home, and he like beeline, he's on a beeline to me. And I'm like, oh shoot, what's Frank upset about? And Frank comes over, and he's like, oh, you got to let me know when you do this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, oh, I've got sprinklers. You got to let me know so I can flag the sprinklers. And I'm like, well, I'm only doing my yard. I'm not doing your yard. And his sprinklers are like well in to his yard, you know, a couple feet. They're not like right on the border of our lawns. So he was very upset that I didn't let him know I was doing some yard work. That's Frank. So I learned his style. So let's see. Cooter says, oh, where are we at? Did I skip ahead? Cooter says, sounds like we need an intervention Monday episode for Bo. Zach says, you just made me laugh out loud, interrupted my yoga flow. ATX, back to listing. I need to get about 200-ish done a day to hit my goal for the year. Probably won't make it, but I'm still shooting for it. That's very cool. I was a little down on my listings yesterday just because I had a lot of stuff, I was in multiple directions yesterday. But I did get, I think, about 90 listings up yesterday. So I think I'm over 900 for the week, which is good. It's like opening a pack of Oreos while watching Hell's Kitchen. Dave says non-machinable includes envelopes with rigid items. Agitator, Fall Creek Collectibles. My former neighbor used to edge with scissors. He's Florida's problem now. Cooter says, Bo is about to be a verb. I just bowed that deal, but will it be a good thing or a bad thing? We won't know until September. Don't aerate if you have an invisible dog fence. Aerate makes the lawn look like it's covered in goose poop. Yes, it absolutely does. Dave says, might be trading them for a gallon of gas, right? So that was my day. I shipped, I listed, I bought Bowman U. I went to the Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive, take a drink. I came home, watered the lawn, and watched the sprinkler. And here we are on Friday. So what I wanted to talk about today, believe it or not, I didn't want to talk about Frank getting upset with my lawn aeration 3 years ago or watering the lawn. John, who's that 70s card show in the chat, had an awesome conversation with Dan Epstein, who's an author of books I have not read, but every time I'm at the bookstore, I'm at Barnes & Noble, usually I see one of his books, and he's got awesome covers, and I always pick it up, and I look at the cover, and it's like, I want to buy this book, and I haven't, but I do want to read. There's a couple 70s baseball books that have, at least the covers have intrigued me, but now listening to the interview, now I am intrigued. So I'll look for the books. So I do have the link to that video. It's in the video description here on this video. So check out John's interview with Dan Epstein. There were, it was just a fascinating interview with their conversation with baseball cards, and music. And what I liked about this interview was a lot of times when authors do their media rounds, it's all about the book, and which I get. Like I come from a media background, and I interviewed lots of authors, and it's basically the author pushing the book and, teasing us with little tidbits like, oh, you can read this fascinating story. Like here's a little tease on what you will read in this book. And this interview was not like that at all. It wasn't pushing the books. It was just two guys talking about the 70s, baseball and music, which I found fascinating. And the 70s fascinate me. Basically the opposite reason of why the 70s fascinate John and Dan, because they grew up in the 70s. That's their childhood. For me, the 70s fascinate me because I wasn't there. I was born in 1982. But I have older siblings, and I've heard the stories of the 70s, and I like history, especially when it comes to baseball and sports. So the 70s have always fascinated me as a decade because it was right before I was around. So that's what I like about the decade of the 70s. So there were, and I actually, so John, here's a credit to your interview. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've ever taken notes listening to a hobby podcast. I grabbed a post-it note and I started writing notes down because I wanted to give my own thoughts on some of the discussion that John and Dan had in the interview. And we're talking about John Keating, that 70s card show here in the chat. Subscribe to his channel. He puts out some awesome hobby content, and the link to his videos in the description here. So I just kind of went down in order of the things that was in, and I haven't even finished the interview. I still have like 30 minutes to listen to, which I'll turn on after I end my show this morning. So one of the things was the John asked, "What's the most important 70s?" And I apologize if I'm paraphrasing here. It's my chicken scratchings. I think it was something like the most important baseball moment of the 70s. And like immediately, as soon as John asked that question, I thought in my head, Hank Aaron, the home run record. And again, I wasn't around in the 70s, so I didn't live it. Like all of my 70s thoughts are based on what I've read, and basically what what's been popularized in the decades since. So number one, I thought, and really, like I'm thinking, what else would there be? Like, what would be, a distant second to the home run record? So, and that's what Dan answered as well. And then it was like, and I don't know what John's words were, maybe colorful, owner. And my first thought, and this is just a bias because of the Chicago connection, Bill Veeck. I've read the book Veeck as in wreck. Of course, longtime owner with the Cubs. And I can't remember if it was Bill or Bill's dad was with the Cubs. In fact, it was Veeck who created the ivy on the walls at Wrigley Field. That was started by Bill Veeck. I don't know. Is it Bill Veeck Sr. and Bill Veeck Jr.? I can't remember. But Bill Veeck, the White Sox Bill Veeck, is the one who created Harry Caray's seventh inning stretch. He stuck Harry Caray when he was a White Sox play-by-play announcer, would sing the seventh inning stretch, and Bill Veeck thought it was so hilarious because Harry Caray had such an awful singing voice that he put a recorder in, and that's how the seventh inning stretch began. So I thought Bill Veeck, and then I thought, okay, there's Charlie Finley, and of course you've got Steinbrenner. But my Chicago bias is with Bill Veeck on the owner. I'm going to go to the chat real quick before carrying on. Zach says, next time Frank mails a package, you need to beeline over there and say, you've got to tell me when you do that. I'm running a business over here. Let's see. DR says, are you on the Hobby Palooza schedule? John is on the Hobby Palooza schedule. I am not. Hobby Palooza is tomorrow. I believe it starts with Hobby Hotline at 10 a.m., goes through the day and night. And that it's all going to be on the Bench Clear Media channel. So you won't have to hop from channel to channel. So that's handy. I'm trying to figure out a way to put Hobby Palooza on at my card show. And I think that I may put it at the entrance to the upstairs ballroom. I have like a high table that I may put my laptop on and put like a sign like listen to Hobby Palooza on Bench Clear Media. So I'm trying to find a way. It's almost it's going to be loud, and you're not going to be really able to listen to the content, but at least it's there to plug, and people may see. So I do want to try to find a way to do that. DR says, I always found it funny how my parents would try to get the lawn the best it could be in anticipation of a party, and then the people just step all over the ground. I know, right? Let's see. Mark agrees about John's interview with Dan Epstein. Great interview, sports and music. Cooter says, John is a great interviewer. His question of, did you find the love of the hobby or love of the game first, is one of the best questions ever posed on Hobby Hotline. I completely agree. I completely agree, 100%. Jason, what is up? Good morning to you. John says cardio, no chat, but taking notes of your notes. I love it. Victor says use a projector, hook the laptop. That's a good idea. It's a good idea. Mark, Cooter, and Diego on with me at 7 p.m. tomorrow Eastern. Awesome. I will be done with the car show. I will be back home by then. So that's what, 6 p.m. Central. So Mark, Cooter, and Diego with John on Hobby Palooza tomorrow. And again, that's all on Bench Clear Media. So sub to Bench Clear Media's channel. You're probably already subscribed. Hobby Palooza will be great for John's subs. He should gain a lot. I know that's how I found Victor. Very cool. So back to John's interview with Epstein. Again, the link to this interview is in my video description. That 70s card show. Talking about, and I think John asked the best team of the 70s by year. My first thought was, I was thinking decade. And I was thinking Big Red Machine, Cincinnati Reds. Again, I wasn't there, but just reading and just absorbing 70s baseball. I thought team of the decade, Big Red Machine. And I think both Dan and John, and they were there, so I give them the lead on this. Was the Oakland A's as team of the decade. But I think they both agreed the team by season was, and I can't remember which year, but it was a Reds team of, was it 76? It was one of the Cincinnati Reds teams in a season, but I think they both said team of the decade would be the Oakland A's. Let's see. And then they talked music. So, and I didn't, what I found fascinating about the music portion of the interview, I love music, but I'm not like set. And Mark, thank you. 76 Reds. I'm not into music. Like, I love music, but I'm not into music. Like, I don't go to many concerts. I'm not into like dissecting the musical attributes of various band members. I just enjoy good music. And sometimes what I think is good music, most people think sucks, and vice versa. But what I find fascinating about music talk, especially when it comes to live concerts and in the history, is hearing, especially with Dan's musical background, and especially when it comes to concerts, was just the different shows, like, and he's like the Kinks in 1980 or whatever concert it was, and I find that fascinating. I have a friend of mine who I went to school with. His dad, he was in a band. They toured the Midwest. He actually opened, and I've talked about this, he opened a recording studio, and it was basically his family. It was a century-old farm, family farm, and he was not in. I think he, maybe one of the other families, farmed the land. He just lived in the family farm house, and one of the barns was not in use. And in the mid 80s, he built a recording studio, and it became a pretty big recording studio in Illinois, in the Midwest. In the story that I've shared is New Kids on the Block stopped on their tour. They had just played a show, I think, in Peoria, Illinois, and they were driving up to either Chicago or Rockford, and Anawan was right on the way. So a couple of members of New Kids on the Block stopped, along with the young brother of one of the New Kids on the Block, who was starting his own music career. And you may recognize the name Mark Wahlberg. Marky Mark was, and he actually laid some tracks, and that's why they stopped. They stopped at Barn Burner, my friend's dad's recording studio, so Marky Mark could lay some tracks down for Good Vibrations. That was like his first hit, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. And so, now looking back, and I actually did not know that part of the story until several months ago. One of my Facebook friends he was in newspaper, and he's always looking for like Peoria connections of various stories. And he was in. So my friend's dad now lives in like a neighboring, bought like another family home um, in a neighboring town, and so my Facebook friend like tagged me, knew that I'm from Anawan, and said, "Is there any truth to the rumor that Marky Mark laid some tracks down for Good Vibrations in Anawan?" And I'm like, I don't know that story, but I do know New Kids on the Block stopped and recorded. And so I tagged in my friend's dad on Facebook, and I'm like, Harry, is there any truth to that? And so then he starts sharing, how it all went down. And yes, in fact, it is 100% true. And so Harry has some fascinating stories of and I'll just read a thread. There'll be a thread. He'll post something on Facebook about, a band he saw in 1977 at the Aragon Ballroom in Chicago. And then all of a sudden, like his buddies that were at the show with him, they're like commenting. And I just find those stories absolutely fascinating. So that's what I enjoyed the most, I think, with John. It wasn't the baseball talk. It wasn't the baseball card talk. It was the music talk, and it was Dan's experiences at shows from the late 70s and early 80s, and just some of those concert stories. So I wanted to share that. And one other thing, John mentioned Audioslave, and Audioslave is a band that I was really into that type of music when Audioslave came out, which was 20 years ago now, which was kind of a super band led by Chris Cornell, which I really like Chris Cornell. Rest in peace. But the rest of the band was guys from Rage Against the Machine, who I do not like. But I think the reason I don't like Rage Against the Machine is not the band members, it's the vocals. And it's very screamy. Zach De La Rocha, lead singer of Rage Against the Machine. And I'm not into the screamy music, and I know not all songs with Rage were screamy, but I didn't like the vocals of Zach De La Rocha. But I did like Audioslave, and I actually when John mentioned Audioslave in the interview, immediately Like a Stone is like their big hit that you may know, was their big radio hit. So now it inspired me to go back and I think that's what I'm going to do later today is listen to other Audioslave tunes because I know Like a Stone, but I don't know the others in their library. Which, how long was Audioslave? They didn't last too long. And then John brought up another band called Plush, and so immediately when I heard the name Plush, I'm thinking Stone Temple Pilots. So I wanted to hear what Plush was all about, and if they were anything like Stone Temple Pilots, I'd be a big fan. So I did. I listened to, as I was watering my garden. I had Spotify on and was listening to some tracks of the band Plush, female vocalist, and very good. I was a fan. So John turned me on to Plush, and I'm gonna have to go back and listen to some Audioslave because it's been a while. Let's go back into the chat. John says 76 Reds led in all offensive categories. Sans stolen bases, best offensive team ever in my mind. Mark says my music collection is the same size as my sports collection. That's impressive. Steve, good morning to you. I'm bringing my wife and 3 daughters to the card show on Sunday. We're from Kansas City, but in Green Bay for my oldest daughter's flag football tournament. Stopping by Madison on the way home. Steve, the show is on Saturday, so hopefully you can make the show on Saturday. No show on Sunday, at least here. Let's see. Cooter says it's always fun to watch an interview when both share knowledge and, most importantly, passion for the subject. Completely agree. Cornell, one of the great rock voices ever. Temple of the Dog, Say Hello to Heaven is Aces. There's another one that, when I think Temple of the Dog, I think Hunger Strike because that's the radio. And I had the Temple of the Dog. I think I do own the CD, the Temple of the Dog CD. I think I bought it on a record store closeout where they were local record store. was closing, and they were just all their CDs were like $1. And I think Temple of the Dog was one that I picked up. John says minutes. So yeah, check out John's interview with Dan Epstein. Awesome interview. They touch on baseball cards, music, and the link is I prefer Call Me Dog. Link is in the description to his interview in my video description to this. So that's what I had. Madison Card Show is tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. 120 tables, Sheraton Hotel on John Nolan Drive. Look forward to seeing you. And Steve, I hope you can make it tomorrow. And Sean, who was in the chat, he's going to be at the show as a dealer. I think I'll do another walkthrough like I did last month. I had a lot of positive feedback on doing that walkthrough video. So I think I'll do that again tomorrow and just show, what the dealers have. And there's going to be new dealers. There's going to be, some of my regulars. I think I'm down six of my regular vendors won't be at tomorrow's show, but I've filled those with new vendors. And so there'll be some, Steve says, dope. Thanks for the reminder. I'll try to make it happen. Awesome. Hope you can. John says you should bag your grass clippings and sell. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I did, and this is just sidebar. This is I do bag my grass clippings and I take them. We have a yard waste dump off, and it's just around the corner. It's a few blocks away. So I bag my grass and take it over there. And for whatever reason, I think it was, they have some weird hours. So sometimes when I mow, it's not on a day they're open or they close early or whatever. So I had, and this thought has never crossed my mind until yesterday. I had basically 2 mows worth of bags of grass, and I put them on the side of my house. Now, in the past, I've put them in the garage, but then it stinks up my garage, and my wife doesn't like that. So I've been putting them on the side of the house, the side of the garage. And I've never thought about this until yesterday. I'm picking up a bag, and I'm like, snakes love grass. I bet snakes would love these. I've only seen one snake. I've lived in Wisconsin for 8 years. I've only seen one snake in Wisconsin. One in 8 years. And it was a little tiny, it looked like a worm, basically. It was under a rock at the last house we lived in. It was like a kind of like I don't think it was a decorative rock, but it looked like a decorative rock. I picked it up, and there's this little snake. Only time I've ever seen a snake in Wisconsin, 8 years of living here. But for some reason it crossed my mind, like if I was even in Illinois, when I lived in Northern Illinois, like growing up, we had tons of snakes in our backyard. I hate snakes, absolutely hate snakes. I know they're good. They eat bugs and all that stuff. And we don't really have any poisonous snakes around here, so you don't have to worry about that. But I just hate snakes. It's just, they're just, they sneak up on you, and you look down, and there they are, just a little squirmy. But I thought, like, if I was like, if growing up where I grew up, if we had bags of grass in the backyard or on the side of the garage, snakes would be getting in there, and there would, just the thought of it. Now I'm like freaked out. Like, now I'm worried that snakes are going to get in there, even though I've never seen a snake here. And I've lived in this house for almost 6 years now, and I've never seen a snake. And there's like woods, like right behind me, in a field. There's a field where there's probably mice, snake-like mice, I think. And there's a tree. It's not a woods. It's a tree line. But it's good. It's good snake territory if there were snakes around here. I just don't think there's snakes around here. Steve says, we read that. Cooter says we bag our grass here too, but only in grams. Love it. Madison Card Show tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m., 120 tables, sold out, free admission. Gonna be a fun time. I will, if you can't make it to the show, I will do a video walkthrough here on my channel at some point, probably around. Unfortunately, it's usually it's a right around 10 because I want to do it when there's a decent crowd, so it doesn't look like there's nobody there. But also like after I kind of get in a settled mode, which typically is around the time Hobby Hotline starts. So apologies in advance. Steve says 77. Chris Chambliss broke my 6-year-old Royals heart, but 70s were a pretty good decade for Kansas City fans. Zach says I'm lucky I can bag and dump it into our adjacent farm field to our back 40. I have that availability here. I just don't. I probably should. Now I did dump. I had dirt from my garden that I wanted to get rid of, and I just took the wheelbarrow back because at the very edge of my backyard, where the tree line and the field meet, and a couple of my neighbors actually dump their grass clippings back there. I just take it. It's nice to get a little drive in, but I could do that. Hate snakes ain't but one kind of good snake, and that's a dead one. I don't kill snakes because they are good for nature. They're just not good for like, I want snakes around to do their like nature thing, but just do it where I'm not, like do it at night, like when I'm not outside. Don't do it in my backyard. Don't, but then we're impeding on their territory when we're out in nature. So I don't know. I guess we just have to live with them. So Madison Card Show's tomorrow. Today, more shipping. I don't know if I'll make a retail run or not. I did buy some Bowman U, and I actually thought about, I bought 6 more Bowman U blasters. So I currently have 47 sealed Bowman U blaster football boxes. And I thought I was actually leaving the parking lot, the Walmart parking lot yesterday afternoon, and I thought, what number do I stop at? Like 50? 100? Like if I keep finding them, do I get 100? I don't think so. I think 50 is like a good, if I see a few more, I think I'll stop at 50. John asks, what about White Snake? I'll accept White Snake. You should try to call into Hobby Hotline tomorrow and show off your show. First off, I don't think there's call-ins to Hobby Hotline. I mean, I guess I could pop in since I'm a panelist, but I don't like doing that because it's just whenever it sounds like a good idea, like, oh, hey, we're at the Dallas Card Show. Let's go live from the Dallas Card Show. And it's just, it sounds like crap. And it's just, it is the way it is. Unless you have, I think it would be good if you have like a headset and you have like a microphone that's not picking up the ambient noise. But when you have an open mic, and you're in a crowd of people, it doesn't sound good. The person at the show can't hear you. The people listening are having a hard time. It's just, I don't like it when there's a live card show. It's cool. Like, hey, yeah, we're live at the card show, but then it sound wise, it sounds like crap. So, it is good in theory, but in practice, it just doesn't work the way you want it to work. And it's hard for me. Like I was actually we were gonna do a call in. Joe, who sets up every once in a while at my show. Joe's a big fan of Hobby Hotline and John Newman's podcast, Sports Card Nation. So Joe's like, hey, let's call into Hobby Hotline, and it got so big. Joe was busy at his table. I was busy. I think I was set up, and it's kind of hard to like hammer down a time to like, let's, even between, even if you have like an hour between 10 and 11, it's kind of hard to, get away and devote. So I'll probably just do a walkthrough video again at whatever time I'm available. And even then, it's like, because I think it took a half an hour to walk my show and show off each table. And it's hard to get 30 minutes of uninterrupted time. Let's see. Cooter says, or the Cobra, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, Dave Parker. Snakes are like PSA to Bo. Go do your thing over there. Yes, yeah. I appreciate snakes for what they are, but I'm not into them. Much like PSA, I appreciate grading for what it is, but it's just not for me. Mark says, called into Hobby Hotline with John Newman from a card store in Cooperstown. It was a mess. I don't think I caught that. I don't know if I caught that. So that's what I have going on. So thanks for tuning in. A great chat as always. Love the Friday free for all. Again, Hobby Palooza tomorrow starts off with Hobby Hotline at 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. That's Central Time. And it's all on Bench Clear Media. So go to Bench Clear Media's YouTube channel, and you don't have to skip around to various channels throughout the day and night. You can just go to Bench Clear Media, and boom, it's all there for Hobby Palooza tomorrow. So, it starts tonight? Hobby Palooza starts tonight? I did not know that. Is there like a schedule? I thought it started tomorrow morning with Hobby Hotline. I'm gonna go to Bench Clear Media. Let's see. I don't see anything about Hobby Palooza on Bench Clears. Is there an about? Is there? Yes, 3 days. It's on their site. Is it the website? Let's go to their website. I didn't realize it. I just thought it was Saturday. Bench Clear. Hobby Palooza 2022. Let's see. Click on that. Hobby Palooza. So it starts Saturday, according to the website. It starts Saturday morning at 9 a.m. with a kickoff. So Hobby Hotline doesn't start it. It starts at 9 a.m. With On the Fly with Mike and Ty, 9 a.m. kickoff show. 10 a.m. Hobby Hotline. 11 a.m. Baseball Hall of Fame autographs. At noon, and this is all I'm assuming Central Time. Noon is Panini America. 1 p.m. Reindeer Studios. 2 p.m. Bowman 53. 3 p.m. She Blinded Me with Refractors. 4 p.m. is Sports Card Live. 5 p.m. Retro Hoop Collectibles. 6 p.m. that 70s Card Show with John Keating, joined by Diego, Mark, and Cooter. 7 p.m. Ray from Philly, who's going to be talking with Victor, the rookie card specialist, and This Baseball Card Life, talking about the future of the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. Pepino Man, tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Pepino being Pepino. 9 p.m. is Cardboard Podcast with Filmington. And then it goes into Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Triple Crown 24, our buddy JT. 11 a.m. is Sports Card Nation. Noon Sunday is Behind the Numbers. 1 p.m. is Mr. Fisher Bike. 2 p.m. is Baseball Collector, Mike Moynihan. 3 p.m. is Sports Card Dad. Silver Jackify is on at 4 p.m. Sunday. Diamond Yard Sports Cards at 5 p.m. Ziggy No at 6 p.m. Maiko at 7 p.m. And the wrap-up show Sunday night, 8 p.m. Central Time. Very cool. So kickoff show 9 a.m. tomorrow morning for Hobby Palooza, all on Bench Clear Media. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Have a great Friday. Enjoy your weekend. No show here tomorrow morning, but I will do a walkthrough from the Madison Card Show at some point mid-morning tomorrow. And then the review, the Madison Card Show review, will be Sunday morning, probably 8 a.m.-ish. 8 a.m., 9 a.m. for the Madison Card Show review. So have a great weekend. Have a great Friday, and we will chat on Sunday morning.